Christian say consciousness holding me back, but I told the God he ain't say nothing back. So till he respond, I'ma stay with the strap. The cops shooting me, nigga, I'm shooting back. Everybody wanna be the king, but they ain't even got the heart of Martin. I'm more like Malcolm X, Huey P, Marcus Garvey.
Hey, what's the word, everybody? It's your boy CP, aka Prime the God, the host of the Prime Perspective podcast and radio show. I was just watching the newly released body cam footage from the police officers in the George Floyd situation, and it made something click for me, or it was another example of something that I say quite often, and I thought that maybe it could help something click for other people, so I thought I'd get on here and I'd just talk about it real quick. In the beginning of the situation, the first video comes out. I don't know if y'all remember, but this was like, the video came out right on the tail end of Joe Biden going on Charlemagne's, The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne, and basically saying, if you ain't voting for me, you ain't black. You ain't black. Now, I don't know if y'all know the history on Joe Biden and all the racial shit he done said over the years. I don't know if y'all know the history on how that crime bill that everybody say, oh, Bill Clinton didn't like black people because he got the most black people locked up under him. Well, that crime bill, if you Google it or look it up, you'll see that Joe Biden calls that the Biden crime bill. So he wrote the bill. Like, well, nah, not even quotes. He really wrote the bill. It's all kind of video about it. But anyway, so if you notice, the situation blew up right after he went on there and did and said that. You know what I mean? So, boom, it comes out. All of a sudden, that Joe Biden thing disappears. Everybody is like, oh man, did y'all see that video of that police officer? He had his knee on the man's neck for 9 minutes. He killed him. It wasn't no need for all that. He was already in the car. They took him out. Blase this, blase that. They said all this. They saying all this stuff. Black Lives Matter, pick up the situation. Now, mind you, Black Lives Matter, all the donations that go to Black Lives Matter go through Act Blue, which in turn sends all this money to Democratic candidates and the Democratic campaign. And Democratic campaigns, and this, that, and the other, like a whole bunch of Democratic stuff now. Mind you, now this story picks up right on the tail end of that Joe Biden situation, right? So now we're emotionally involved in this situation because they're painting a picture of police brutality. And the way they paint that picture, we've all had situations where we felt like the police have did wrong to us or somebody, or we've seen it on TV, or we've seen it in the news. You know what I mean? But so that's a situation, like, especially black people knowing what police represent to us. You know what I mean? Like, that's gonna get us emotionally involved, emotionally stirred. They don't wait until all the information is out. They just push this shit out to us to get us emotional and pretty much on some fuck the police type shit. That's why they push that information out there and do that to us, and we get emotional and we go crazy. They start protesting at first, and then it turns into looting and rioting because of anger, our emotion. We going crazy. I mean, some people say it was Antifa. That's not important right now. But the protest turned into looting and rioting. So once the protests turn into looting and rioting, we put pressure on the people in the justice system to get us the charge we want. Now, we as black people, majority of us aren't really all that educated on the law and how things work. So with that being said, we see this video, it's like, oh no, that's flat out murder. He didn't have to do that. That shit shouldn't happen like that. So they need to go to jail, all of them for life. So we push for these murder charges, homicide. We push for these strict charges, not knowing exactly what these charges mean, but we get these charges drawn up based on our emotion and our lack of knowledge. And when the people actually go to court, they don't get found guilty of these charges because of what those charges mean. And when the other evidence, like this new body cam footage, I mean, we're seeing this footage, but I promise you it won't be drilled down your throat like the other footage. And by the time we get this extra footage, we're so caught up in our emotion and we fought so hard to get these charges, we don't even really care what this extra footage is, but the extra footage puts things into context. In reality, there were other people in the car. There were other people with George Floyd. None of them were harmed. They talked to the police. Everything was calm with them. Before they even took George Floyd out the car or put him on the ground, he was already screaming he can't breathe. He was erratic when he got there. The toxicology, was it toxicology or the report that they gave as soon as the initial report that came out after he died, the autopsy, said that the man had all kinds of drugs in his system. I mean, like, the extra footage along with the autopsy and the fact that he had drugs and all this stuff in his system, and the fact that his death, according to the autopsy, wasn't directly due to the knee in his neck. And with all of that together, they're not gonna get him on the charges that our emotion has brought up against this man. So when this man gets out, or when these men get acquitted of the charges based on the fact that they literally didn't commit the crime that we got them charged with because of our emotion, we lose our shit again. And it perpetuates these, I'm not gonna say myths, because a myth would insinuate that it never happened or that it doesn't still happen on any level, but it perpetuates these ideas that black people are this overall victim, or that we're being mistreated by the law, when in fact we're not being mistreated by the law. We're actually getting the charges that we pushed to get, but those are not the crimes that are committed. And the media, which is majority left Democrat biased, other than Fox News, which none of y'all watch because like y'all get the Democratic side, and the Democrat wants to divide the nation. Why do the Democrats want to divide the nation? Because they know that the white Democrats are going to be Democrats regardless, because that's how they need to be Democrats to get financially be stable. They are doing the Democrat thing because the Democrat Party really helps them. But black people are Democrat by design, and they know that if they don't get 85 to 90% of the black people's vote, that they won't win any elections. And how they do that is they emotionally divide us, and they paint the picture of the Republican Party as the white party, when in fact 60% of Democrats are also white. But the idea is they get you emotionally charged, so they satisfy you by these crazy charges on the people who you feel like should go to jail for life because of your lack of knowledge. And instead of educating you on the laws and telling you why they did this or how this happened this way, they let you feel like you are the victim of some sort of oppression. And the only thing that is oppressing you is your lack of knowledge. That's why I can't support these. I definitely understand, as a black man, as a person, period, that black lives definitely matter. 100%. I never say that black lives don't matter, but the organization and the movement that has taken on the name of Black Lives Matter is here to politically manipulate us as a people. And it's manipulating us into voting and being in a party that has consistently failed us since we began voting for them. Before we were Democrats, black people were flourishing. When black people were Republicans, there were families. Black people, like, you could see the politicalness of the Black Lives Matter movement in their own slogan. I'm not going to go through it, but if you want to go see it, you can go read it for yourself. And it says about the nuclear family and breaking down the nuclear family. Like, I'm not for nor against. I don't care what you do in your home in reality. I don't care what kind of family you have, honestly. But I do know that statistically speaking, when the nuclear family was a greater part of the black community was doing way, way, way better. That's why I'm saying, like, the Democratic Party has been consistently failing us for years and years and years and years. And from its inception, the Republican Party has been doing things that directly benefit the black people. Regardless if the white people who run either of these parties like us, love us, or hate us, it does not, I don't have to like you, they don't have to like us for them to either benefit or be a detriment to us. And the reality of it is the Democrats have been failing us for 50, 60 years, like, since we've been voting for them, period. And they do it by manipulating us into division from the rest of America. We see race, we only see the division, we only see our small groups, we don't see America, we don't see that who the real enemy is. I hope I didn't get to rambling too much, you know. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to say that. Check me out, Prime to God, The Prime Perspective. You know, I'm gonna just be throwing these little videos up every time I feel something. But you know, I get more in depth and more in detail when you catch me on the radio show or the actual podcast that is coming real soon, guys. I'm out.